Homemade marzipan is colored, then shaped using some very inexpensive dollar store plastic eggs. These eggs are then decorated with royal icing and other decorations for Easter. Happy Easter! Today on Cravings Food Adventures, I'm going to show you how to make Marzipan Easter Eggs. These Marzipan Easter Eggs are very popular in India, especially in Bombay and Goa. They're made really simply. I'm going to show you how to make marzipan in the microwave and then make an egg out of it and then decorate it. It's super easy to make and everyone's going to love it. Before I go any further with this recipe, do make sure you subscribe to my channel and make sure to ring the bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Now, let's get cooking. I'm going to start with 100 grams. That's about 3.5 ounces of ground almonds or almond meal as it's called, and I'm going to add this to my food processor. I'm going to follow this with 200 grams, that's roughly 7 ounces of icing sugar. I'm also going to add 2 egg whites. Now I'm using extra large eggs, so you will need about 40 to 50 ml of egg white. I'm going to add half now and I will add the other half later. I'm also going to add a few drops of almond essence. This will give the marzipan a distinct marzipan-y aroma. Cover this and let the food processor do all the work. Many like to just knead this by hand. I find that the food processor works the almond and icing sugar together, so the almond meal releases all of its oil into the icing sugar and the egg just holds everything together. Now I'm going to add the other half of the egg white and I'm going to keep processing. My absolute fave is to use raw cashew nuts instead of almonds as it's much tastier. If they're on sale, I will always pick them up over the almond meal. Cashews don't come in a meal form, so if you want to use cashew nuts, just buy the cashew bits and process this first with the icing sugar. Cashew nuts have more oil than almonds, so you may need to adjust the icing sugar. If I'm covering cakes, I always use almonds as the results are always flawless. Now look at this consistency. It's literally already a dough. I'm going to turn this out onto a microwave-safe platter and I'm just going to give this a quick knead. Cover this with cling film and zap in the microwave for about 10 seconds, about 3 times. I'm going to remove this and allow it to cool. When the marzipan cools, let me quickly talk about the food coloring. You can use these gel colors that come in a multitude of colors. These are great to use if you need specific colors. They also have a great vibrancy to them. Or you can use the very simple liquid food colors. These come in squeeze bottles. Both are totally fine to use. The simplest is to use the liquid color as it's easier to incorporate. Because of the easy squeeze bottle, it's easy to add just a little bit more if you need to. And I'm looking for pastel shades anyway. The marzipan is still warm, but I'm going to divide it into 4 parts. This will help the marzipan dry faster. Add a little bit of icing sugar so the marzipan is easy to handle. I'm just going to lightly knead each quarter. The moisture has now evaporated and the marzipan is easy to handle. Now for the color. To keep it simple, I'm just using the 4 colors straight out of the box. I'm starting with a few drops of red coloring. Mix this in and roll between the palm of your hands. The heat from your hands will make the marzipan sticky. This is quite normal. Just add some icing sugar as you're handling it. This is a perfect pink color. I'm just going to wash my hands in between so there's no color transfer. Now I'm going to add some yellow and do the same thing. Next up is green. And finally, I'm going in for the blue. make the egg shapes, I'm going to use these inexpensive dollar store plastic eggs. I bought two kinds, one that opens vertically and one that opens horizontally. You only really need one of each, but it's good to have a bunch, especially if you're getting other people to help you pound out these Easter eggs. I have cling film wrapped over my dish. This is a good idea so the marzipan doesn't stick to the surface. Let's start with a vertical egg. This is in two pieces. The bottom shape is a bit different from the top, and the top is a little bit more pointy. It's good to know when you're deciding what color goes in the bottom versus the top. Line the egg half with cling film and grab some of that marzipan and pack it in. Once it's pressed in, it's super easy to remove with the help of the cling film. Now for the top half. Just remember that when these eggs close, there is a millimeter or so overlap so the plastic egg can close. When you fill the second half, make sure that you fill it till it's 1 to 2 millimeters away from the top. If you fill both sides right to the very top, it'll look a little unnatural when you stack them together. Now look at this. Perfect. Now let's do a horizontal one. I'm going to do one half. I'm going to press it in, remove, and then I'm going to work on the other half. If you want sprinkles pressed in, add them first and then add the marzipan over it. And this one will be a millimeter or so under the edge, just like the other egg. If you don't want to make a whole egg, you can also make egg halves. These look really cute as well. Now I'm just going to keep making some more solid and some mixed colored eggs. I managed to get 2 stand-up eggs, 2 laying flat, and I also pressed a few halves with this batch of marzipan. I have 2 disposable piping bags here. One has a star tip and the other has a basket weave tip. I have some Royal Icing here and I'm just tinting this one pink. Add some icing in between the 2 halves. This will act like a glue to hold the 2 halves of the egg together. Now I'm using a simple squeeze and pull technique with a number 1 star tip. I haven't done any piping in a while, so this won't be perfect. If you're working on decorating a batch, it's best to let the icing dry before picking it up again. Keep a wet towel handy to clean the tips in between. I'm going to do the same for the next one. Seal with icing in between and then just pipe along the seam. For variety, I'm going to use a basket tip as well, and I chose a blue icing. I'm just going to pipe a zigzag pattern to seal the seam. Now I'm going to switch to another tip. This is a bigger star tip and I'm just going to pipe this just above the edge on the egg halves. I'm going to set this one aside to dry. On the next half, I'm just going to pipe some star shapes. I bought a bunch of sprinkle mixes and some of them come with these beautiful little candy colored balls. Before the icing sets and gets hard, I'm going to push a little ball into the center of each star. Look how pretty this looks. I'm going to fill this in with the smaller pink star tip. There are so many ways to decorate, just use your imagination. Here I'm smearing some icing at the top and then I'm going to dunk this in some sprinkles. With this one, I will do another star border. I'm going to switch the blue icing bag to a round tip. And since the icing is now dry on the eggs I decorated earlier, I can start to pipe more decorations on it. I'm just going to go with a swirly pattern here. On this one, I'm just going to pipe a line that ends in a dot. The dots are perfect to hold more candy balls. You may notice that the finer tips can get clogged. Keep a toothpick handy to clear the opening. I'm having a lot of trouble with this tip, so I decided to open it. Turns out that the tip is actually completely blocked with a gel I used on another decorating project. It dried up and closed the opening and I had no idea. I tried to fix it, but in this case, the only way to clear it is to wash it out with hot water. It's now good to go and piping beautifully again. I'm going to leave this one to dry. I'm going to smear the tip on top of this egg as well with icing and dip it into sprinkles. I'm adding dots of icing and setting a silver candy ball in each. As the icing decorations dry, you can add more or just leave them aside. Some more dots and balls for this one. And this one is getting a squiggly line treatment. I've made a few batches of these to share with my family and friends. These are so easy to make and decorate. All you need is your imagination and a little delicious marzipan. Enjoy! Thank you so much for joining me on Cravings for Adventures. I hope you enjoyed this delicious recipe for Marzipan Easter eggs. Now you know how easy it is to make it yourself. You can make a batch for your family and friends. I really had so much fun decorating these eggs and I'm sure that you will too. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, guys, and make sure that you've rung the bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. If you love this video, give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment below so I know what you think about this video. Also, share my recipes with your family and friends so they can enjoy it as well. And be sure to follow me behind the scenes on all of my social channels. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. Until I see you next time, have a very safe and blessed Easter. Take care. Bye.